Okay, it's 6:30. We're going to go ahead and call the work session agenda and meeting to order. First, I'd like to start off with a special presentation. But before I do, I'd like to direct you to the third row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seat over. There is a reserved spot for Miss Norma Long. We lost her on April 8th, 2025. Ed's lovely wife, and she was here at every council meeting. I don't think in my 6.5 years as mayor, and then when I was the chairman of Parks and Rec for 5, 6 years, she ever missed a meeting. She loved this city. She loved this town. She'd do anything for us all. And Ed, we're deeply sorry, and we miss her too. So we will keep this in honor of her out here, and have that seat for her, because that's about where she sat, because she could keep her eyes on her beautiful husband. All right. All right. Well, now we're going to go to another big special presentation. We usually do this in the office, but we thought this was a big one. And what I'd like to do is recognize a couple of people, or 3 people. We'd like to do our April Employee of the Month here, because it's a pretty big deal. We'd like to recognize K-9 Officer Ben Willen and Patrol Officer Zachary Kaplinger as the Employee of the Month for April for their hard work and dedication during the month of March. So if y'all would like to come up, stand by the podium there and let me finish reading this. Y'all come on down. Very rarely does a city recognize more than one Employee of the Month. This is an ironic statement, as this is the second month in a row it has transpired. On March 14th, though, what these officers did saved the life of one of their fellow officers, Patrol Officer Son Lee. On March 14th, sometime after midnight, our officers had a routine stop in Cabot near the Pulaski County line. After a few conversations, it was determined the car needed to be searched. The officers discovered what they believed to be either fentanyl or another similar substance. Our officers followed all protocols and proceeded with caution. Despite this, as the car continued to be searched, Officer Lee somehow came in contact with the substance. Instead of being cautious or freezing up, all the 3 other officers, which included Pulaski County Sheriff Deputy, Officer Lee jumped into action immediately. K-9 Officer Willen grabbed his aide and called for an ambulance. Deputy Ryan Crancer from the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office was also on scene and went to his aide as well. He retrieved his pulse ox to check him, and during this time, Officer Lee continued to get worse and become nauseous. K-9 Officer Willen was able to get Officer Lee on the ground, where Officer Kaplinger administered one dose of Narcan. The ambulance then arrived and was able to transport him to the ER until he was deemed stable. Officer Lee was sick from the effects of the drug for the remainder of the next day. While officers unfortunately had to administer Narcan to the public far too often, it can be a shock when this may need to be used on one of their own. Despite this, K-9 Officer Willen, Officer Kaplinger, and Deputy Crancer stayed calm, acted quickly, and helped prevent something that could have been far worse. While police and fire could be commended every month for the heroic acts they do, many times the city does not get a chance to shine light on these actions. This month, though, the city wanted to thank Officer Lee for his service and his speedy recovery. Deputy Crancer, with the mayor proclamation that I have here that I'll read in a moment, for his actions, and K-9 Officer Ben Willen and Patrol Officer Zachary Kaplinger with the April Employees of the Month Award. Thank you, gentlemen. Okay, so here are y'all's Employee of the Month plaques. Zachary Kaplinger. You're welcome. Ben Willen. You're welcome. And I also did a mayor proclamation for you, Sheriff Deputy Ryan Crancer. Whereas Deputy Ryan Crancer, acted heroic on the night of March 14th while assisting the city of Cabot. And whereas Deputy Crancer was a part of a team along with Cabot police officers that helped administer emergency Narcan to an officer exposed to deadly drugs. And whereas his actions, along with the help of the team, helped save the life of a Cabot police officer. And whereas the mayor and the entire city of Cabot is appreciative to Deputy Crancer's service and quick actions. Now therefore, I, Ken Kincaid, Mayor of the City of Cabot, do hereby recognize Deputy Ryan Crancer in the City of Cabot for his invaluable and life-saving service to the Cabot Police Department. Thank you, sir. In addition, you know, when we do Employee of the Month, I personally take out the Employee of the Month and the HR Director, and we have a lunch, and their names in the paper and on the billboard and on emails, etc. But since you're not in Cabot, you're Pulaski County, we have a presentation from you from Captain Gibson.
Again, I want to say thank you. You guys do an exemplary job, a good representation of the city, and I want to thank Deputy Crancer for that. And on behalf of the Cabot Police Department Foundation, gift card for lunch. Thank you.
And I just want the public to know that gift card is for a restaurant in Cabot. So you have to spend your money here. Okay. Do you want a picture, Jeffrey? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. In addition, their name is on the plaque at City Hall. That'll be etched in infamy. Okay, now I'd like to turn it over to nominating committee chairman Stephen Redd. Do you have anything?
I do not, Mayor.
Okay. Next up, Municipal Service Committee Chairman Ed Long.
Thank you, Mayor. We've got several little items here to contend with tonight. The first thing is a ordinance to rezone 400 West Pine Street, City of Cabot. You're on here as presenter.
Yes, sir. Laura is on vacation. She doesn't need anything but a one reading done. As you can see from the packet, it's the First Baptist Church needed a rezone there on that corner. The office building, I think, across from Pinnacle Advisors, where Marshall Butler has his two-story house that used to be a law firm at one time, and I think Dale Medlin's residence at one time. But anyway, that's the location. Would like to be able to put that on the agenda and have 3 readings, sir.
Gary, you want to add anything to that? I think that's pretty much. Before the meeting, the applicant's representative talked to me. They don't want any, Ben, they don't want any readings waived or anything on this. So unlike what we generally do on rezone stuff, this one will go all the way through per their request, okay? All right, anybody got any questions for the mayor or Gary or anybody on this? Pretty straightforward. I think everybody knows where the property is located. It's not going to change it much, if any. All right, I need a motion, please.
Motion to move to full council.
I have a motion. I need a second, please.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Tammy, please.
Long,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
All right, next is another rezone. This is lots 1 through 5 of 4 Mile Creek Commercial Park. Mayor?
Yes, sir. This is out where Lyon College is going to be. You can see there on your map, went through planning, and I believe the vote was unanimous to rezone those 5 lots there in your packet as C3 lots.
Anybody have any questions on that? I know where it's at out there. All right. Anybody in the audience have any questions on that one, since that's going to be in a new area of town for us? If not, I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to move full council.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
Have a second. Tammy?
Long,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
And if there's no objections on this, Mayor, I'd like to do this one like we do normally on the rezones.
Yes, sir.
Since it's already been through the planning commission, it'd be best way to do it, I think. All right, Tammy, you're up on your wanting to redo the city's fixed asset list. And
Thank you,
thanks for
Chairman.
the email that you sent out beforehand. I thought that was very helpful.
Sure. Thank you, Chairman Long. This legislation allows us to raise the threshold for what we consider a fixed asset, which means we won't have to record smaller purchases in 2025. It also ensures we're meeting the state code requirement for the governing body to define a fixed asset policy. Additionally, it gives us the ability to remove assets from our books that no longer meet the updated criteria. So I have auditors in-house right now, so I respectfully ask for your support in moving this forward and adopting it. Thank you.
All right, anybody on the committee have any questions for Tammy on this? I thought her letter done a great job of explaining it all the way up and down, and I really do appreciate that. That was great. Anybody got any questions? This is just kind of a housekeeping thing. It's to make her job in compliance with everybody else in the world. So anybody got any questions on it? I need a motion.
Make the motion to send it to full council.
I have a motion, second. Tammy?
Long,
Yes.
Weber,
Yeah.
Reed,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Red.
Yes.
A resolution to reappoint Alan Turnbow to the Lonoc County Housing Authority Board of Commissioners. Mayor?
Yes, sir. My apologies to you, Chairman Long. I got a phone call on the way here from Mr. David Gates, who's over that, and they sent us this in ERA. It's a Lonoc County, and they do it differently now. We still
Okay.
do the Cabot Housing Authority, and he sent it to me to put on the agenda, and then he said, "Oh my, I just realized I shouldn't have done that." So
Okay.
I'd like to strike that if we could,
That's not an
and
issue.
if that's okay with the council.
Yep. Whenever we get ready to vote for the items to be heard on the regular meeting, we'll just omit that item. So that'll clear that up real quick. All right, Mayor, that concludes my portion of it. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any questions or comments, we'll do at the end, as we've customarily done in the past. Next up, Budget and Personnel Committee Chairman Brandon Hillenberg.
Thank you, Mayor. First off the bat, we got a resolution regarding the hiring of additional Cabot Fire Department personnel, presented by Kyle Pickard.
I'm presenting this because last month we bought a fire truck and Chief Moore stated that they slide across the bay just to respond on it. So I believe it needs to be staffed fully with at least 3 personnel.
Chief Moore, do you have thoughts on this?
I do. So we do slide across the bay because our rescue that we have is for emergency medical response. When we have an alarm for a fire or a fire, that crew just gets into that truck. It's equipped with everything. All they do is transfer their turnouts. The idea of having more people is a great idea, but that idea at the expense of not only our loyal firefighters that are here and keeping them here, but the expense of the entire city. That's a big hit immediately. Not only that, the mayor, HR, we've been working on our strategic plan and adding people at a financially responsible rate over the next few years.
So how many on the rescue squad is assigned? 4 or 3?
4.
4. So you could possibly revamp and I could lessen the number to staff. I'm asking you, is that possible? Because you'd have 3 extra. Now I could only suggest hiring 6.
Well, again, that's a big hit right now. And that's, there's a lot more to it than just adding people.
I understand that, but we also spent a lot of money of the taxpayers' money for a new fire truck too.
We did, and we also
And
have to,
all fire trucks will respond to rescues.
I'm sorry,
All fire trucks will respond to rescues too.
ladders don't respond to rescues.
Yeah, that may be where you're set up, but
That,
it's a
that
fire
is
truck.
how we are set up.
Okay. But it's a fire truck and could respond to rescues if it come down to it.
We have a rescue vehicle that responds to rescues and a ladder truck that responds to fires and alarms.
Yeah, like, is there a demonstrable need? I guess, like, I'm trying to understand.
Currently, as the legislation is written, that you have, he put in there that we have to have 3 people on an apparatus, being a captain, an engineer, and a firefighter, and possibly another firefighter if it's available. That's already how we operate.
Operationally, do you feel like you're short-staffed, you're short-handed, that you need additional staff?
Right now, we're good. And again, we have plans that we've been working on. Matter of fact, it's probably been in the last few months that we've been putting together our strategic plan to add more people.
Thank you.
So what happens there, the rescue squad's gone and the structure fire comes in 2 minutes later?
I mean, we can what if to, so we could have 4
It's
people.
fire
sitting-
service. You've just got to plan for it, so.
You're right, and that could happen. And
Yes,
we'll have
sir.
to adjust fire for that.
Don't we call out to other cities?
Yeah, we have mutual aid agreements, yes.
Do we have like metrics, like response times, or
We do.
what are those KPIs, and are we meeting them?
So the response time is to be turned, for a fire, we'll just address that. For a fire, you're supposed to be turned out, respond within 2 minutes of the call.
Where are we right now?
I'm sorry.
Like, what are we averaging right now?
Right now, we're good. And matter of fact, it's in the packet this month too.
Okay.
Should have the turnout times on there. That's what that's in reference to. Don't look at 200 because that's my response time. I'm always a little behind.
Any other questions for Chief?
Do we follow 1710 NFPA?
So NFPA 1710 is a standard that
Yes, sir.
most departments can't abide to because on that, if we're going by 1710, we're supposed to have 27 show up first response for an apartment fire.
And
Now,
fo-
we
and
do have
14 on
off-duty
structure.
response that is impeccable. We had 2 fires in Greystone. One fire, we had 18 off-duty show up. The next one, 3 o'clock in the morning, we had an additional 8. So our off-duty response is very good.
But 1710 also addresses staffing.
It does. And it is a standard, not a law.
I'm sure you'll say this in a minute, but the fire truck's not for like 2 more years, right?
Correct. That'll be the point where we're hiring some more people.
Realistically, like, how long does it take to train them up? Would you hire 6 months prior to the delivery of the truck, or what would be the plan there?
It's usually about a 16-week process to
Okay.
get them in school, get them trained up.
Thank you.
So that's why I'm presenting this, so we can get ahead of the ballgame.
I have a quick question. I know I'm not on this committee, but, so when we agreed to buy this additional apparatus, and then we talked about getting a standby apparatus, if we get that standby, we're not gonna be manning all of these apparatus because the one is a standby.
Correct.
And we also talked about how once the new one comes in, we may or may not sell one of those. So we wouldn't necessarily still have all 3. Am I correct on my recollection of that?
That was my understanding, yeah.
So we wouldn't necessarily need to fully staff all three, correct?
I'm only talking about staffing one, Matt.
Okay.
The one we got right now, they're just sliding across the bay. It's not fully staffed.
And Chief, in 27, when you start hiring them, I mean, is it hard or is it easier? Not easier, probably is the best word, but we got folks wanting to be a part of the Cabot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right now, we get applications weekly, and I think Chief Smithson, who handles all of that, I think we're sitting on about 70,
7-0?
70.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it is a department to work for.
So when that 2 years comes up, and I realize you guys are still working through that, what does that look like as far as numbers?
2 years, we're still working on the numbers on that, but at least 3 that year is what I'm shooting for, and then 3 the subsequent year after that, and so on.
Okay.
Because the fire truck won't be here until what, November of 27?
Oh, let's see, 2 years from now, so yes, correct,
Plus 4, right? 2 years plus 4,
correct.
28 months.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to note one thing for the record.
Absolutely.
The cost of resolution to the city, in 2025 would be $313,900. 26 would be $496,122. And beyond that would run us $878,000. That's right at $1 million in additional salaries to have extra personnel.
Any other questions on this? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion.
No second, it fails. Our next resolution is a resolution that will update the travel policy. Our current travel policy, as it stands now, there is no restriction on hotel stays regardless of the distance. This policy has been in place for a very long time, is in dire of updates. This resolution will enact a policy that a conference, training, whatever it is, must be more than 60 miles from an employee's primary residence in order for the city to pay for a hotel. This will not only cut cost of hotels, but on per diem as well, since per diem can be paid out anytime that there is an overnight stay. As chair of the Budget Committee and the Budget Committee as a whole, it is our duty to ensure our tax dollars are used appropriately and wisely. Everyone in Cabot has likely had to look at their finances and make adjustments. The city should be no different. We just don't see how having taxpayers fund hotel rooms for such a small distance from home is a responsible use of their money. And with that, I will open up the floor for any questions.
May I have the floor, Chairman?
Absolutely, Mr. Mayor.
As discussed in our office together, I told you I was not for this. If you looked in the data that you received, you would see that we went to 9 other conferences in Little Rock or in that area. That we did not stay there. We stayed at the AML conference because it's a special type of animal, like I tried to explain in our meeting. Does the council know how much we pay to AML just for our dues each year? Anybody? we pay $79,747 of taxpayer money to AML for dues. Okay? So we got a pretty big investment going with AML. What else does AML do? Well, they do all of our insurance. They do our personal, vehicle, liability, commercial. That's probably, I don't know how much, didn't pull it, but you know it's got to be big. What else do they do? Well, they're our legal arm. They're our attorneys. They're who helps Ben out, me out, Matthew out, Tammy out on legislative actions. Then when people are trying to sue our officers or our firemen or anyone in our office, they help us with that. And what else do they do? Well, they're our legislative arm. They go to our senators and representatives and fight on our behalf, and they were all no votes to all this planning you read in the newspaper, and they were trying to help us out. So when we go to this conference, not like any others, we're invested in that collaboration. I serve on the executive committee. I have other directors that serve on other committees, and we're looking for avenues and ideas to help out the city and save us money. So this isn't like a regular conference. This is a collaboration with a business partner and someone that we do business with every day. The CEO of AML texted me this morning and said, "Mayor, worried about you. Is your city okay?" And I said, "Man, we got lucky. It's outside the county, but we'll check our buildings and we'll check the city in general, and I'll let you know." Pretty awesome to have a partner like that. So when we go to these things, it's not everything's on that agenda till 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. There's stuff that's not on that agenda that we are there till late at night. You have other cities that are closer than we are staying there with the same issues that we have. And then we have a legislative audit that has no findings of anything that we do in our travel. So I guess I was a little perturbed because in my mind, this deals with day-to-day, and I think we've been running day-to-day real well. Of course, y'all can look over that policy. I'm fully aware of that, but I just want to plead to the fact that our actions at this summit, conference, whatever you want to call it, is more than just staying the night. It's working to collaborate with them and make things better for our city. And I guarantee you, with our help there and the relationships we've formed, we've saved the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. Thank you for letting me speak, Chairman.
My pleasure. Anyone else?
I mean, I'm all for that, you know, we're important and it's important to us, but 22 miles down the road and getting per diem and you're getting a salary, I just can't wrap my head around it. I'm sorry.
Have you ever been to the conference?
I've been to plenty of conferences.
Have you been to that one?
No, I have not.
Yep. How long have you been a council member?
4 years.
Okay.
I went to it in January, and yes, it's very educational. And the number one thing they taught us to reach out to other cities, and I did reach out to Sherwood, that's closer than us. Their city policy is 60 miles. So I think this is.
We're
good.
Cabot. We're not Little Rock Fire.
I'm
We're
throwing
not
out
Sherwood.
everything.
We're Cabot.
I understand that.
And we're doing a whole lot better than Sherwood is right now.
Could you explain, I want to understand how driving home at the end of it and driving to it at the beginning of it, like what would we lose? If we couldn't stay overnight, what would we lose?
Well,
What couldn't you do? You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of the times in January, it's ice storms. So, I mean, you've got to look at their health, welfare of the person. You got to look at the next morning trying to find a parking spot. All of downtown is completely full. So you got people that can't get in the park. It's just a general thing. Like I said, it's not just a regular conference. It's more of a time to spend with your collaborating partner to get things done. And I'm just saying it hasn't been a waste.
Yeah.
It's been completely, the city has received fulfillment from it. And like I said, there's 9 other conferences here, and I can give them to you right now that we've went to that no one stayed the night. That's the only one, I believe Brandon's checked that we've stayed the night at. And that's it. So, if anybody knows about not wanting to waste money, it's me. And I feel that the city's at its strongest financial point it's ever been in history right now.
This
Mr.
is just,
Chairman,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Kyle, go ahead.
I would like to amend it where it says from City Hall and not the personal residence.
That's fair.
Makes it easier on Tammy and everybody going forward. And the mayor's comment on parking, I drove back and forth both days and parked at Robinson for $12 and we didn't pay $30 like it was on the invoice. Easy parking, 1 block away.
Brandon, would you be open to an exception to the rule if there's like forecasted, adverse weather? So like to this point about ice storms or something?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And keep in mind, they do it twice a year. There's another one coming up in June.
This is just strictly an off-the-cuff question. I don't have the answer to it, but I'm sure that somebody has looked at it over the last 5 years for that particular convention because it's been held in Little Rock. Used to, it was in Hot Springs and Fayetteville and everywhere else, but they have brought it back to Little Rock.
Yes, sir.
What have we spent on housing? Not on registration, not on anything, just housing staying over. Do we have any idea, Tammy, you got even a guess? And I know you don't like to
Housing, how
guess.
much we spent on housing, staying over there in 5 years. I guess the last year, do you remember what that was? It's like $350 a person, and there was 3 of us, so there's 1,000. So say 2,000 the last trailing 12 months. And it was within our travel budget,
Right.
so.
I asked that very question to Tammy, Ed, and for just this year alone, the mayor and 2 department heads come to $1,553.
So it's less than 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Okay, so who stays? Is it you?
I stay in Matthew Hood, shares a room with me.
Okay,
And then Alicia has stayed this last time, and Laura Nobles has stayed. And I can't remember, other people have stayed in the past, but
so just this time. So
Yep.
Ben, do you go to it? Do you go to this conference?
Yeah.
And you don't stay though, you come home? Okay. And Chief Moore, do you go to the conference? Okay. Chief Stu, no. Okay. So Matthew, Mike Wheeler, do you go? Do you stay? I stay. Okay. Travis, do you go? Okay. Do you stay when you go? Okay. I'm just trying to figure out like who stays and who.
basically it's people in insurance, public works, economic development, kind of the stuff that we're handling there at the convention.
Okay. I get it. I get why you have to stay late at night. I think we're beating around the bush and whatever goes on past 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and that is part of doing business. But, and I've been to that conference, and I get it, but I don't think the taxpayers should have to pay for us to stay if we're gonna participate in after-hour activities. So that's just my feelings on it.
Anyone else from full council? Kyle, did you want to make a motion to amend this?
Yes, I want to make a motion to amend it to City Hall rather than personal residence.
50 miles or 60?
60 miles.
60 miles.
Oh, second.
Oh, no. Do you want to put in there about your weather thing or?
Yeah, can we throw in an exception, in the event of, forecasted adverse weather that may prevent travel or something?
As long as Kyle's willing to add that to his motion.
Okay, yeah.
Absolutely.
I would also like to add before we vote on this that I would like this to be added as the agenda item, not the council meeting right after this, but the council meeting in May. This is a resolution and we only read this one time. So I want the citizens to be able to weigh in their thoughts to their council members. Ms. Tammy, I'm ready for a roll call vote if you are. As the amended resolution, please.
Red,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Pickard,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes. Motion passes. That's all I have, Mayor.
That motion was.
That feels out of order, yeah.
That motion was just for me.
With that, I entertain a motion, guys.
Make a motion.
Second.
Roll call vote, Ms. Tammy?
Red,
Yes.
Cope,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Pickard,
Yes.
Hillenberg.
Yes. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Next up, Police and Fire Committee Chairman Stephen Redd.
Chief Moore, can you give us an update on our fire apparatus, sir?
Sure can. So, finding a used fire apparatus that fits in our budget that we can afford has been a lot more challenging than I thought it would be. There's a couple purveyors out there that deal strictly with used fire trucks. The biggest one out there is Brindley Mountain out of Alabama, and they kind of have their fingers on everything. I'm giving you a lot of story here. So we find something on there and, the pictures are great. It kind of fits our parameters that we're looking for. And we'll say, hey, can you, how is this thing? Man, it's great. It runs awesome. We can't get the ladder to work. Okay. Then we move on to the next one. It's sold. Then we move on to the next one. Yeah. Can you send us a video of this truck running, doing a pump check, a ladder, and then it's crickets. No feedback from that. So we've whittled down to about 3 that we're currently working on. I'm not holding my breath, but they've all seemed promising until we get to a certain juncture in the road. And they range in price anywhere from $30,000, which is crazy. If it worked out, that would be great. We could write our check pretty quick, up to about, I think our limit's about $250 budget-wise. And we've got 3 that we've whittled down to.
Now, was any of those 3 you're willing out some pictures that Mr. Weber sent you on the way to Memphis?
Oh, no, I went ahead and just, I know it's rude, but I just disregarded those.
I got you.
No, we bought those, didn't we?
I sure hope not. It was a joke.
Yes.
Council, any questions, comments for Chief Moore?
So there aren't any Carfax out there for these?
No, unfortunately, no.
It's a business.
And the one thing too, if we're wanting a pumper or a fire engine, there's tons of them out there. Lucky for us that the hardest thing to get and the fewest out there are aerials. So that's what we're dealing with too. And then we'll find something else that's great and it's, 8 years old and it's $750,000. So just finding that sweet spot of budget that it works, that we're not getting a big heap that we're going to have to dump a bunch of money into.
Yeah, I totally understand getting one and then sending it right to the shop is probably not the
Right.
smartest thing about taxpayers' dollars, so.
And typically it's like when somebody's selling a used fire truck, they're not selling a good one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you for the update. Council, any questions, comments for Chief? Absolutely. He's not buying your fire truck in the weeds.
So for complete disclosure, this was a joke. I took a picture of a fire truck boneyard between here and Memphis, and I sent it to the mayor and to the chief.
I was
It-
trying
it
to
was
think of where that was at. I wasn't sure if it was towards
Parking.
Memphis or if it was going towards Branson, but.
Yeah.
All right, I knew I'd seen those. At some
And I'll send it to Jeffrey if I need to. It was just a joke.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. That's all I've got, Mayor.
Next up, Community Development Committee, Chairman Maggie Cope.
Thank you. Alicia is going to do her economic development report.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Thank you so much. Let's make sure we're pushing buttons. All right, so you have your the packet in front of you of this slideshow, and I also would like those who are watching that this is also loaded on our website under cabotar.gov under Community and Economic Development. So if anyone would like to follow along, they have the opportunity as well at home. So let's get started with, what did I put? What did I point? Here we go, our impact report, in theory. Need a battery. Of course. There we go. All right. So let's start with business licenses. So there was 190 new business licenses that were issued to local businesses here in the city of Cabot. This information was pulled from the clerk's office. They are the ones who receive all of those payments and monitor those business licenses. And they are broken down by those different categories that show the totals. There were 89 new businesses, 11 who have changed owners, 19 that had a new location or expanded that location, 59 that were in-home businesses, and those are just important to the brick and mortar. Those are also air conditioning, construction, lawn service, and those things like that. And then 12 food trucks, and you'll see later on that the food trucks, only with 12 new ones, but that is also a substantial revenue generator for the city of Cabot. Overall, there's about 1,100 total business licenses here in the city of Cabot. So highlighting some of the new businesses that have come to the city in 2024, we just wanted to kind of highlight kind of those larger ones that have come through. They range everything from a grocery store to restaurants to local business owners and to hotels. You can see some of them are highlighted here. Commercial real estate is also on the rise. So this is a list of all of the commercial pieces of property that were sold in the city of Cabot limits. And this information was pulled from our Pulaski County Assessor's Office, and you'll see that that total is $32 million, and that is from all the transactions, and there was 105 total transactions last year. Commercial permits, this came from the permit office, 47 total, and that's including those finish outs and those remodels of those spaces. City sales tax collected. So this is a report that the City Council and the Mayor's Office receives every single month. And so we wanted to highlight that in one snapshot so you can see those Nexus codes across there and how important they are to the city and kind of the breakdown of those collected. And then digging into the numbers even more so, you'll see that there is also a comparison chart. So these are for those identifier Nexus codes that are basically those soft goods, restaurants, grocery stores, and travelers. You'll see that that traveler report is where some of the highest percentages have come from. Also, that grocery number continues to climb. And I do want to point out that the limited service eating places, that is Nexus code 7222, and that is where you pay before you eat and there's no waitress. Those are typically like coffee shops or those healthy energy drink stores. And then the specialty food, which is the 7223 under the Nexus code, those are going to be those food trucks. And you'll see that those numbers are continuing to climb up through year over year. Overall, we did want to run some percentages, and you'll see that I started in 2021, coming on my 4th year here, and that those numbers, we've seen an increase of 23.25%. And one of the most substantial numbers, you'll see that when the mayor started with his term as mayor, that we've increased from 2019 to 2024 with a 91.86% in all of these categories. So talking about the incentive program, As a reminder that this is a program that City Council approved in 2021. And these are not sales tax dollars. These are business license fees that are collected by the clerk's office. And so it's an opportunity for businesses to give back, or actually to be able to reap the rewards of those fees that they've paid in the past, almost like a savings account. They are able to apply for these funds through the grant program. There is an approval process for this. So if you go onto the website under Economic Incentive Program, there is just a very quick piece of one-page form that you fill out, submit that to our office. And then at that time, we call in for an interview and we sit down with that business owner. We talk about what their plans are. The mayor then does that final approval process to approve those funds. And these are the businesses that were approved in 2024. And I will say that to date, every single business that has come before our office with that piece of paper in hand has received an approval of this grant. So it is working. People are renovating their spaces, they're relocating and growing their business, and they're increasing their signage and making our city even more beautiful. So new developments coming forward. Again, there's a lot of new excitement. Today, as a matter of fact, Starbucks on 321 officially opened. Taco Bell opened a few weeks ago, and Whataburger will be close behind, and there are a lot more that will be announced in the weeks to come.
From every corner of Cabot, people are coming together, building a city that is more than just the sum of its parts, creating a brighter future for the next generation, with small business, agriculture, recreation, and families working as one with an undivided focus. There's no limit to what we can achieve. Cabot, Arkansas. It's all here.
In 2024, we launched our brand new logo. You'll see it is predominantly displayed out in front of this beautiful building and along the roadways on the signs. It is an accompaniment of basically all of the things that make Cabot great, and we love to bring it together under one symbolic notion. There's a lot of times that we also did some advertising, or we were advertised in the news, highlighting all of the wonderful things that the city of Cabot is doing. Just a few highlights from the past year. In May, we announced the partnership with Lyon College. Game Time at the Grounds opened in May as well. In July, we opened the Rail Yard Pavilion. And in November, that huge designation of I-57, former 67-167, just to name a few, that got us a lot of traction on media, not just in Central Arkansas, but across the state. In addition, the AMP funded a really robust advertising opportunity that really highlighted everything from quality of life, education, business community, and local eats. And that was in a July multi-page layout in the AY magazine. With that new design, we also did a web design, and this is an opportunity to increase community engagement and enhance communication for our residents. You'll see at the top that there are those buttons, so if you have a problem with your trash, there's a button to push for trash. If you see a light out, push the button. We wanted to make it more interactive and easier for our residents to use. How many times do you get asked, what is that being built over there? So we created a map. This is a map of every single new business that is being built that has been approved through the Planning Commission since 2019. So if it has gone through the proper steps in our Planning Commission and is under construction in that capacity, it is going to be on that map so residents and business owners can see what's coming to this area. Again, those are only loaded as they are approved through that process. Available properties in Cabot, working alongside with local realtors, developers, and landowners. This is an interactive map so that we can showcase the opportunities for growth and development outside of our borders. We know what amazing properties that we have here, but sometimes it's better for people who don't live here who want to relocate their business here. So this is a way for them to get eyes on those pieces of property. And sometimes landowners don't necessarily want to run it through an MLS, so this is an opportunity for them to highlight those pieces of property without having to go through a formalized realtor until they're ready. Another important aspect is that we are in a trade area of 150,000 people in the Cabot area. It's a pretty substantial number that encompasses the city of Austin, the city of Ward, and the unincorporated areas of Lonoke County. That is the numbers that we work with whenever we're recruiting businesses. And so we wanted to take a look at the housing that's also coming to this area. So working with those mayors and those cities on getting them on the map. So you can see the growth from from the 2020 census moving forward of all the houses that are being built in the Cabot area. Coming soon is a See, Click, Fix app. So if you're driving down the street, you see a pothole, you can push the button on your phone and you'll be able to monitor and you'll have a map of where you are so it can get to the proper departments more efficiently and more effectively. So as you can see, there is a lot of things that we've worked on in 2024, and 2025 looks to be just as exciting and engaging. I'll entertain any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for Alicia?
Yeah, Chairman, I've got a couple. So on this new commercial businesses in 2024, what's the criteria of that you came up with?
That they got a business license.
So they got a business license, so they're really not new to Cabot though.
So as you'll see on the slide that is on there, that they are broken down, as I indicated, there are 89 new businesses. And then there were, sorry, go to that page. I'm sorry, 89 new business, 11 that changed owners, 19 that had a new location and expanded, 59 that were in-home businesses, and 12 food trucks.
My next one is this park that went to AMP, a couple meetings got turned down, actually 3 times, and then came to the council and the city paid, what, Mayor, 30-something thousand? And I think Cabot Water paid 30-something thousand. Ed, help me if I'm wrong, that $60,000. Where are we at on that? Because I remember in those meetings that we had to do that, or they was gonna sell
You guys
that.
approved that through city council.
I get that, but where's the park at?
The park?
The park that we was gonna get?
So that park, the landowner passed away and it is currently in probate.
Okay, that's all I got, Chairman, thanks.
Else have any questions?
I have one quick one. Sorry, I have one quick one. On the economic incentives, there are 2 that are quite a bit out of the norm. Explain that to me, please.
Yes, those were brought forth before the mayor. And again, the mayor is one who authorizes all funding associated with this program.
I understand every bit of that.
Oh,
What was the difference in these that caused them to be out of norm is what I'm asking. I
would-
understand the process very
Which
well.
ones is he
Boone
talking
Mortgage and Curly Willow, the new coffee shop.
Boone Mortgage had to do a bunch of sidewalk work, drainage work, et cetera, in the downtown district. And he came to us well over budget and said, hey, I'm doing this to improve your downtown. And we felt like you could either waive sidewalks and do it ourselves or do something like this to show that we are helping the small business and not Arvest Bank coming downtown. It's a individual that's a taxpayer, that's a citizen, that is coming to our downtown area. Curly Willow the same way. They have a lot of fans out there and a lot of fans of Brew Ya Ya. And they're doing a coffee shop downtown on the corner of Locust and 2nd. So they're bringing some more eateries and stuff downtown in our downtown revitalization.
I understand Curly Willow, I do for a fact. Boone Mortgage, I'm struggling with that just a little bit. I understand. In my view, maybe it would have been better to be funded out of the sidewalk.
Okay. Well, he invested close to $1 million
Yeah, I understand.
downtown, and
I
since
know,
he did
yeah,
that,
I looked at the building
Malikian's
over today,
making
yeah.
their building really nice, so it did do something for our area down there, so we've seen development spur since that. But maybe I made a bad choice, so.
No, I'm not gonna say it's a bad choice. I'm just gonna say, if that was what it was for, I'm afraid if we put this kind of stuff into this incentive program, we may be hard pressed to tell somebody down the road. So I don't know. I don't know if that was maybe where that needed to hang up. I'm not necessarily against the expenditure. I think maybe it was, I don't know.
So are you thinking it should only be for retail establishments?
No, I'm not saying that
Okay.
at all. I mean, you said that, I understood you to say.
Yes, sir.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that you based part of your decision, if not all your decision, on the idea that he had to put new sidewalks in and everything like that.
that he was helping redevelop the downtown district area that looks
Yeah, no,
pretty
he's
bad.
done a good job over there. It looks fine.
So,
Chairman
the
Long.
decision to help make our downtown look better.
Chairman Long, there is one thing that you will see with all of these on here is the two that did receive a different contribution were brand new constructions or a rebuild of an existing building. The others were needing just signage, or were just doing some sheet rock, or maybe new flooring, or just a paint, just improving an existing space, and that's why they met that threshold of that $2,500 pretty easily. With those two, that was a brand new location that he built, and then if you've driven by and seen the new Brit Royale coffee shop and what that old dilapidated house is going to look like. So that also, I'm sure, factored into the revitalization of the funding.
Thank you, Maggie.
So, in the incentives, it come up roughly under right under $40,000 for 2024, and that's always spent out of that fund?
That was just for the Move Cabot Forward. Everything else that you guys had approved is also still, there are installment payments that you guys have authorized, but these are only the ones that you've not been authorized.
That was just Holiday Inn Express and that it?
I can look at that. I believe it is the Holiday Inn Express is the final payment on
Holiday Inn
that.
Express and Chick-fil-A, wasn't it?
Chick-fil-A, I believe that they did.
No,
the
I
final
don't think we
installment.
did a long-term deal with
I
Chick-fil-A.
don't think so.
Was that a one and done?
One and done.
It was a 50 versus 30 or something, right?
Yeah, that was
80
taken
versus
care of.
30.
Yeah.
And the Holiday Inn is that long-term installment that will
There
continue
was
for
three on the Holiday Inn, I believe. Is that
5
right?
years.
No, sir, there was 6.
Oh, yeah, on account of the.
Yes, sir.
Street. Count the street.
And so maybe just explain, I know that we probably know, but for maybe businesses that are listening, or I'm sure there's gonna be some that come to you, or has there any been come this year so far?
Yes.
Okay. So how does that, you said they have to fill out an application, they send that in, they meet with you and the mayor?
Yeah, I received the initial paperwork to kind of go over it to make sure that we have everything that we need from them. And then the mayor sits down with them and we talk about their dreams and we talk about their vision of what they're doing and make sure that it fits within the proper requirements of this ordinance. And then on the back end, they do have a whole list of things that they have to go through to follow through before they receive the check. And that is in compliance with the clerk's office and meeting with Tammy and making sure that we are, looking at the proper information. And that was based on her guidelines of what she needed to receive on the back end of that.
As well as an agreement signed by them,
And also
made by
a
our legal
mutual,
department.
an agreement on, and
So
they
just basically like A&P also, they bring you the receipts and we make
bring
sure that they-
receipts, pictures of what's going on. Also in that MOU, the opportunity that if you'd like for them to come and tell their story, I'd be more than welcome. They're probably nervous that I just said that because every time they see that in the MOU, that does make them nervous, but maybe a letter or something to showcase the work that they've done.
So what's the current balance in that account?
Unfortunately, I cannot recall. I thought about that on the way here. Tammy, would you be able to help get that balance too? Because again, this is business licenses that are coming into the city. So this is an ongoing process and an ongoing number. We wish everyone paid as soon as they got that wonderful bill.
It's gonna be different. They just sent the invoices out, so they've been collecting. So
And
they're
there
due
was a
May
balance.
31st. So it's,
Yeah.
every day
What
it's,
it should be, maybe. Yeah, it's okay. No, you're not, it's not your fault. I just thought about the question. No, I just thought about the question. Not your fault at all. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? for Alicia?
Mrs. Chairwoman, Alicia, this is also for like existing businesses that are expanding, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And a majority of them, actually, a pretty good mix of what you see on there. Shaylee's Day Spa actually did a renovation of her existing business. A Blaze moved from one location to another. Sage Tea and Treats, that was a new business. Hidden Willow had never purchased a sign for that hidden gem, pun intended, back through there. Arkansas Refresh is a new business. The High Spa was a relocation of their business on 321, and they moved right into the heart of downtown. Boom Mortgage is that new one. On Deck is right off 2nd Street, and they were kind of, didn't have any proper signage, and so that goes to improving their exterior facade and a sign. Rejuvenation Station, that was a new business as well, that was expanding, and then again, the coffee shop. So you'll see it as a good mix of new and existing businesses.
And Alicia, the big enchilada, I guess I'd like an update on, and this line's college. So, I hear a lot of mixed things. So where we stand with lines right now as of to date?
There is a whole team of us that are working on that, and I think that if you'd like that, we'd like to prepare a full presentation with you. As a matter of fact, working on the groundbreaking for that as well, and there's a lot of us that are involved in that process.
I know they're under a time crunch, is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
They need to be under a time crunch. They keep they keep either saying it's going to be August 26, or they might say January of 27, or they might say June of 26. There's a lot of things floating around. So probably the best thing to do is get Lyon College in here to do some sort of presentation for you. That'd be your best bet.
They'd love the opportunity to come and speak to you. They're very excited about the opportunity to be here in Cabot.
So there is some groundbreaking though, Brandon. I know
There-
that
there-
May 8th or 9th or
Well,
10th or 11th.
we were concerned about having a large amount of people on that site.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are looking at potentially moving that because we feel from a safety standpoint that that may not be the best opportunity. So we're working through that as well. So we may be moving that date.
Okay. Perfect. And then have they, Mayor, this is just a question for you, I guess, or Tammy. Have they purchased the land? Have we gotten that money for the land?
No.
yet? Okay. So we're
No.
still waiting on that. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Anybody else? No? Good. Oh,
Have your balance.
Thank you.
There's
you quick.
there's $271,000 in that account at the end of February.
okay.
And as the mayor stated, we are in the process of sending out renewals for business license, and we budget, we expect about 90,000 a year from that.
Thank you. Very good. Very good program that we have. Anybody else over there?
Yeah, I have one more. Mayor, what's the holdup on the transfer of that funds? I know everything got approved and did all the contracts got signed, and so what's the?
It's hung up with attorneys. Ben?
So probably the short answer is there's too many lawyers involved. There's us, there's Lion, and then there's the big legal out of Chicago that represents the money, and they're actually the holdup. You got tall building lawyers charging a lot of money, and they're gonna drag it out. So the real answer is the lawyers.
But they've stated the land closing slated for late May, but they've gave us a date before and they didn't hit, so that's our current, late May.
Anybody else? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Council. Mayor.
I think that's all we have.
Okay, Military Affairs Committee Chairman Matt Weber.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have two items, and I apologize for not getting them on the agenda. I did give each of you a copy of the information that I received. The first one is Cabot High School Military Recognition and Signing Day. That's going to be on a week from today at the high school media center, and anyone is invited to attend. But if you do decide to attend, you do need to submit a background check and submit that to Major Gibson. It includes the email address for him. The keynote speaker for that event is going to be Chief Master Sergeant Jamal Chesney. He's the command chief out at the 314th Airlift Wing at Little Rock Air Force Base. So that should be a good presentation, just an opportunity to see our young folks who have participated in ROTC, and they are going into the military, one branch or another. So if you'd like to go, just let me know, or just contact Major Gibson himself about attending. Then the other thing that I had, just got this today, there is going to be a Herc Nation Legacy Award, and that is going to be presented honoring retired General Mike Minahan on Monday, May 5th. If you've had any connection with the Air Force Base at all, you know that General Minahan is a superstar, and Little Rock is wanting to recognize him for everything that he's done, not only here at this base, but his entire career. So if you'd like to attend, there is an RSVP for May 1st. And there is a link. I can forward that to everyone. But May 5th, and the catcher on this is going to be what time it starts at 8 a.m. And if you have ever tried to get on the base at that time of the morning, it's going to be a challenge. So if you decide to go, great, but plan ahead on your arrival, and you will be parking at the Kenny Community Center, and they will provide transportation to the park where the actual ceremony is going to take place, Heritage Park. If you've been on the base, that's where all the static aircraft are. So those are the only two things I had. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer. If you'd like to go, just let me know, and I will send you any additional information that you need. That's all I've got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We have general community input now. Now's your time if you want to come to the podium and speak to any of the committees or the mayor about any questions, please do so. If not, we'll adjourn and go to the Cabot City Council meeting, and then we'll have a community input at that time as well.
Could I share? I did have another handout I gave everyone.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
For those of you that had any questions about the hazardous waste roundup that we conducted last month, I gave a handout to all the council members. If anybody else would like a copy of this, it gives the totals of all the stuff that we collected that day. And I also included a copy of last year's list so you can compare the numbers. We were up on paint, down on toxins.
Up on tires.
Up on tires. Yep. Thank you. Corey would know that very well. On tires, he was working that. And then I did include a copy of the invoice that we received. I had already submitted that to Miss Tammy for payment, but I was asked a question earlier about how this invoice compares. It's about a $400 difference from last year. So we are kind of maintaining right now. The amounts that were of individual things is fluctuating, but we are really hitting a plateau, I think, being consistent on what we're bringing in. But that's always subject to a spike every now and then. You just never know what people are going to bring. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion adjourned.
Second.
We got a motion from Stephen, a second from Matt. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourned at 7:38. Anyone want to take a break before let's take a 5-minute bathroom break, and then we'll start the council meeting up. Thanks, everybody. Okay, it's 7:45. We're going to call the April 21st, 2025 Cabot City Council meeting to order. 7:45. Opening prayer is going to be by Council Member Corey Spangler, followed by Pledge of Allegiance, Council Member Matt Weber. Please stand, please.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight in prayer to ask for the wisdom and the humility to make thoughtful and just decisions for our city. We pray for the comfort of those in our community affected by last night's tornado. In these divided and tumultuous times, we pray tonight for friendship. We pray that you give us the vision to see each other as neighbors and friends with shared values and a shared investment in the success of our community, our state, and our nation. Please watch over us, watch over our city's workers, and especially our children. Most of us yesterday celebrated the resurrection and triumph of Jesus Christ, but his resurrection required that he sacrifice his life for all of us. And for that sacrifice, we eternally thank and praise him. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Roll call, please, Tammy.
Long,
Here.
Spangler,
Here.
Red,
Here.
Hillenberg,
Here.
Coe. Here. Reed,
Here.
Weber,
Here.
Pickard.
Here.
Thank you, Tammy. All 8 are present. Approval of the minutes. We have 2 separate sets. The first one is March 4th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as stated March 4, 2025.
Second.
I got a motion by Stephen, a second by Brandon to approve the March 4th, 2025 minutes. Any discussions, corrections, additions, deletions? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long, Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe. Yes. Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Pickard.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item is the March 18th, 2025 minutes.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion by Corey, second from Stephen. Any discussion, corrections, additions? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Pickard.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next item is read ordinances and resolutions by title only.
Make a motion to read ordinances and resolutions by title only.
Second.
I got a motion by Matt, a second by James to read ordinances and resolutions by title only. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Pickard.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next is city council old business. I don't have any business, council, do y'all? Seeing none, we go into city council confirm new business. Right now, we don't have any, so we need new business to be brought to the agenda.
I move that we send items A through C to full council.
We got a motion to send items A through C to full council. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second from Ed, a motion by Corey. Any discussion? All in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Long,
Yes.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Hillenberg,
Yes.
Coe.
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Pickard.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. So the first item is item A, ordinance number 12 of 2025. Please, Tammy.
Number 12 of 2025, an ordinance to rezone 400 West Pine Street, City of Cabot, from R1 Single Family Residential District to O1 Office and Quiet Business District, amending the land use plan and for other purposes.
No
Okay.
other action, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Next up, item B, ordinance number 13 of 2025. Please, Tammy.
Number 13 of 2025, an ordinance to rezone lots 1 through 5, 4 Mile Creek Commercial Park, and part of the southwest 1/4 of Section 6, T4N, R9W, City of Cabot, from R1 Single Family Residential District to C3 Open Display District, amending the land use plan and for other purposes. First reading.
No other action.
Okay. And then item C, resolution number 7 of 2025, please, Tammy.
Number 7 of 2025, a resolution establishing policies regarding the fixed asset list and for other purposes.
Make a motion that we adopt resolution number 7 of 2025.
Second.
Got a motion by James, a second by Matt Weber to adopt resolution number 7 of 2025. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, roll call vote, please, Tammy.
Spangler,
Yes.
Red,
Yes.
Gillenberg,
Yes.
Coe,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Pickard,
Yes.
Long.
Yes.
Passes 8-0. Next up, community input. Anyone want to come and talk and speak with the mayor and the council? Please state your name and if you live in Cabot.
My name is Bob Tassler, Tasler. And I'm here to speak to the council, and I appreciate your time. And I'll take as little of your time as I can. I've talked to the mayor a number of times about a number of things, and I'll make this as quick as I can. But I'm concerned about the progress our city is going to with regard to following our ordinances, rules, and regulations. I follow them all that I know of. I talked to Mr. Mayor about travel trailers, and apparently he sent you all a text that said Bob Tassler said we should have an ordinance covering travel trailers. I'm here to address that and a couple other things. On the weekend that it rained a lot, between heavy rain squalls, my wife and I drove to a number of subdivisions. They happened to be all the subdivisions that I had built since I moved in Cabot. I'm going to read them quickly to you. Summit Phase 1 and 2, Sun Terrace Phase 1, 2, and 3, Shiloh Phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. I started Greystone, and approximately there's 1,465 houses in these subdivisions. And I don't have Cabot Highlands on here. I forgot to put that on my list. See, I'm getting old. But anyway, there's a total of 1,465 houses approximately. And there are 45 travel trailers that we counted as we drove through these subdivisions. And the 45 as compared to 1,465 is 3/100ths of 1%. So with that, I would like to continue on, and I would like to discuss 3 lots that are close to where I live. And the first one is 19 South Summit. And, 14 South Summit. he has a travel trailer parked on his driveway with a truck in front of it and a truck beside it and a car in front of the truck. He has an accessory building that's off to the left in his backyard and not behind his house. He has a truck and a trailer parked in his front yard. He has another trailer parked on his right side of his lot in the back. And I don't know how many people live in the home, but he has worn the grass out of the front yard and he is now graveling his front yard. Okay? The next house that I would like to bring to your attention is 16 South Summit. This gentleman wanted an accessory building. It was approved. He is on a septic system. All of the Summit subdivision is on a septic system. And I'll tell you the reason for that is I didn't know sewer was on the west side of the freeway when I built the Summit. So Cheyenne, the man that worked for me, he knew how to put in septic tanks. So I went and took the license to be a septic tank installer and I passed. So we built the Summit subdivision and we put septic tanks in all the lots. There's about 60 of them. So anyway, this gentleman gets approval for his accessory building. And then he starts to build his accessory building on his field lines. And I saw this and I got him stopped. So he moved the accessory building farther back on the lot. He got it finished. The roof doesn't match the house. It's silver. The house shingles are dark colored. Okay. I never said nothing. Well, then he had overhead electricity put to the accessory building. Then he put a garage door in his accessory building. Then he filled in his ditch to the south side of his lot, and he now uses that now for his driveway. And he has a work trailer on the west side of his accessory building, and he has a pickup on the east side of his accessory building. He has a pickup in his driveway, and he has 3 other cars on the premises. He has an in-home business license because he's in a restricted subdivision. He has a business license. He shouldn't have a business license. And in an in-home business license, you can only use 25 foot of the square feet of your house for your business. And you can have 1 car in the driveway at a time. So that's 16 South Summit. Across the street from him is 17 South Summit. This man come in, it's a repossessed house. He remodeled it, they painted, they put in new shrubbery, they did great. Oh, I'm looking at them, they're looking good. Well, the next thing is a trailer and a tractor is now parked beside his house. And he's working on the tractor and trailer one morning in the middle of the street. Couldn't get through. So anyway, I sent a picture to City Hall, and the trailer disappeared, but he brings the tractor back every weekend. And this Easter weekend, it was parked catty-cornered across his front yard. So there's 3. And then I'll tell you about 15 North Sunland. Now, I knew this is a builder that lives there, and I knew him in Chimney Rock in Beebe. I built a subdivision up there. And this gentleman bought this house at 15 North Sunland, and he moved in, and he started to build. He got an accessory building approved. He started to build it, and he was gonna make a pole barn there. Well, I saw this, so I called and I got it stopped. But then he went ahead and he finished this building. It's double the size of an accessory building. He's got a tin roof on it, no eaves, and the material that he did the outside walls with doesn't match the house. And the back of the house, last time I checked, the back of the accessory building was not finished, but the front, he had a kind of a glass garage door there, and he'd put a driveway in. In accessory buildings, you don't have driveways because you ain't supposed to have nothing around the accessory buildings. You don't drive to them. They're 10 feet from behind the house. His sets 20 feet from the front building line, almost adjacent to the house. Now, briefly, this house in today's market, in my opinion, is probably a $350,000 house. I would say you would be lucky to get 2 1/4 from it with the condition that it's in. But I'm giving all you folks all this information without malice towards none. I'm telling you what's going on, trying to give you a picture. So, you know, that's the house synopsis. And as we were driving through the subdivisions, I'm kind of a picky individual. I got to have things just right in my life. And I'm in Shiloh. Now, Shiloh looks good. It's well-maintained subdivision. It's great. But then here I come on the corner, nice house, driveway's good, yard's good, but he's got a travel trailer setting crossways across his front yard. Well, I couldn't believe this, you know, but it was there. So then we went on and we spotted travel trailers where we think people are living in them. And that shouldn't be. And then we was in Sun Terrace, and we took the first road to the right, and you come on a little farther and the road tees. And to the right it dead ends, and to the left there's a cul-de-sac. Well, there's 7 cars on the cul-de-sac, parked on its cul-de-sac. The fire department had to have 400 feet of hose to get to the house because the cars were there, you know. So anyway, you know, I've thought about this a lot. I wanted to come and talk to you about it, and I'm not down here. I'm not directing this to anybody except to try to give you an overview. We gotta tighten up, in my opinion. And when I was building these subdivisions, and Ed Long will probably tell you this, or some others maybe, but I worked 7 days a week and wanted everything right. And now it's not like that. So anyway, I got 3 more things I want to talk to you about. The first one is I'm suggesting that you create a committee to set up a method to govern travel trailers. Not to prohibit them from the city, but create a platform that they can have their travel trailers in the city, but they have to be presented to the rest of us homeowners in a dramatic manner and making them the greatest looking things in the world that's on their property. Now, there's one gentleman on in Sun Terrace. As you drive in, his house is on the right. He's at the top of the hill. He has paved his parking for his travel trailer. His house is well maintained and it looks good. And, you know, that's a guy that's doing what should be done. But anyway, I'm suggesting that you have a committee for this. And I'm volunteering as a citizen to be on this committee with you. And of course, I meditate for a week or so before I come up with conclusions on things. So I would like to participate if it suits the mayor and the rest of you. Now this next thing is a little more dramatic that I want to talk to you about. You need code enforcement strengthened. And sometimes you have departments to where you have too much in a department and the manager can't manage all of these departments. Give that every department the time they require so that all the departments are running good that they're supervising. So I'm suggesting that you consider taking the code enforcement department and the permit department where you, or the department where you have inspections, and you have a code enforcement department and an inspection department together. Because inspections, when you go out on your inspections, you're kind of enforcing the codes. You're making sure the buildings are built right. And, you know, when you're out there inspecting, you may see, you know, the guy in Upper Summit where he does heavy mechanic work in his garage. See? Well, you might want to stop and give him a little ticket and say, you know, you can't do that. Now, I'm going to be back there in 2 weeks. You better have your garage all cleaned up and quit wrenching in your garage, you know. And if he doesn't, then you write him the $1,000 ticket. See? Now, that sounds harsh, doesn't it? But, you know, if you'd write a couple $1,000 tickets in Cabot, Arkansas, you'd be surprised how the residences get more maintained where the ones that are lax. The other thing that I want to say is, it's very simple. Laws that are not enforced are useless. And that's the final of my comments. I hope I haven't bored you, but I think that we need something done about code enforcement and getting people to take care of their homes in a better fashion. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Tessler. Get your hat.
Oh, yeah, geez, I gotta have that. I wore that so you knew who it was.
Any others would like to address the council or the mayor at this time? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, I consider that to have died in committee. It was not passed out of committee, so I consider it to be dead. Yes, sir.
The only thing I have is everyone got a letter at their seat, and it's from Professor Tidwell. Mike and I have been talking about this for some time, and now we didn't tell this guy to write it, of course, but it came to us about parking at the Peak Center. If you hadn't been over there in a while, we've got some great cooks. I got Employee of the Month, let's see, back in March. And they're doing a fantastic job. We're serving an average of 100 people a day over there. And I went over for Thursday and spent some time with them. for their Easter service, and it was more than that. But anyway, of course, they want some more parking, which that costs money. Mike and I have been working on this. I just want to say you might see something come up in the future asking us to spend some money for parking over there. We're thinking maybe right in front of the gardens all the way to the current parking, to fill in that so they don't have to walk as far. And hopefully that'll give us 20, 30 more spots. I mean, just take small chunks out of it. But I just want to let you know that we haven't come to you with a plan yet, but one's coming.
Yeah, Mayor, I agree. I've been over there a few times and, I mean, I've been amazed on how far they walk or roll in on their chairs or whatever. I mean, that's a place, a pretty big hit and a pretty happy place. So I'm definitely all in favor.
Okay, that's all I have. Anyone else have anything else? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
I got a motion from Stephen, a second from Matthew. Any other discussion? See none, all in favor, roll call, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.